So a wise one once said, this isn't me, you've got more back at the front than there is at the back. Dan's having to like do this auto cue at the moment. So what they were basically trying to say is that a lot of the structures that support your spine actually come through the front of your abdomen. So things like psoas major, iliacus, these are your hip flexors. They actually sit in the front of the abdomen and they're an often overlooked muscle. I think a lot of people talk about hip flexors in their role in terms of flexing the hip, but your hip flexors, because they attach onto your spine, also play a vital role as far as back mechanics is concerned. So if you have back pain that's worse on extension, just put my cheek then, that's worse on extension, so bending backwards, there's a good chance that you are tight through the front of the hips and through this muscle called psoas major. So the next couple of videos are going to be all about loosening up your hip flexors, and with the use of my lovely very small basketball, loosen off psoas major. So piece number one, I think the first thing we're going to do is sitting back onto your heel, like so. We're going to spend 30 seconds just taking some of the tension out. There's a muscle in your quadriceps that actually crosses the knee joint and the hip joint, a muscle called rectus femoris. So the first part of this is about taking some of the tension out of that muscle, so that when we go into the more advanced position, it doesn't feel like you're tearing muscle away from bone, which is never a good thing. Once you've camped out there for 30 seconds, mat or towel against the wall, trying to get your knee as close to the wall as you can, and then bring yourself up into your lunge position. Now, the closer your knees to the wall, the more intense the stretch is in the front of the hips. Don't use me as an example because I'm pretty tight in my hip flexors. Do as I say, not as I do. Try and avoid the temptation to arch your back, because that makes the exercise easier. So try and keep your spine in a neutral position, and to increase the stretch, if you need to, push forward from your hips. So once you've camped out in the first position for about 30 to 60 seconds, you're going to spend a further 30 to 60 seconds in this bit feeling the opening sensation on the front of the hip. Repeat that process on the right side, and that's piece number one. So piece number two, we're now going to work upstream of some of those muscles on the front of the hip. Now, with a hardish ball, this is your umbilical region, this is your belly button. We're going to go to the side of your belly button region. This is where you're going to find you'll be able to access that psoas major muscle. So taking the ball onto the floor, positioning yourself over the ball, so to the side of the belly button region, just below your belly button. You're going to roll around until you find a bit that makes you think, yeah, I feel really sick there. That's the muscle, that's psoas major, that's the thing we're trying to access. And then simply in this position, it's just about allowing yourself to relax, so your abdomen to relax over the ball. So it starts to sink in to the abdominal region, sink into the kind of the muscle, and start to release that muscle off. So in this position, 60 to 90 seconds, let yourself sink onto the ball or over the ball, and then repeat the same process on the other side. And that's the final piece, that's piece number two.